Welcome to the official podcast of Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. This is Whispers from the Dark. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 100th episode of Whispers from the Dark. I am your host, Barnaby, and alongside me today is Ma.
Yep, I'm here.
That's my favorite part of the show. Ma.
Ma.
Who's with you? Ma. Guys, we have an amazing show for you for the 100th episode. I thought long and hard, and I thought, what do I want to do for the 100th episode? And I thought about doing, a big celebrity or a guest. And I thought...
You got Ma.
But I thought, all those people are, they're not Caps. And this is the official podcast of Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. So what I have done today is I have invited the entire Caps team on today's show. So we are going to get to know all the Caps members and hear some fun stories. And just for this one episode, we are going to open the floodgates to any episode that we have ever done, any investigation that we have ever done, whether it's aired or not. You can tell your stories, because what better way to get the hype out for the upcoming stuff that we're going to do than to talk about that. So before we get into all that, I want to tell you about some stuff that's coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching our show, we have a brand new series on the trail of undiscovered beasts. It airs exclusively on Paraflix Paranormal Plus. That is a all paranormal streaming service on Paraflix. It is just like Netflix, except it's all paranormal and cryptids and weird stuff. If you go to our website, you can follow the link and use the promo code CAPS10 and get 10% off your first 3 months of Paraflix. Ooh, I have to click it. There we go. Also, guys, if you want to show your support, we have our online store. Visit us on our website, wisconsincaps.com, or go to tpublic.com/user/Wisconsin Caps. We have t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts, magnets, mugs, tote bags, tank tops, pillows, and pins, and a lot more. And you can get it with all of your favorite shows, Whispers from the Dark, On the Trail of Undiscovered Beasts, our paranormal tours, all that stuff is on our website. And while we're going to our website, make sure you follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Our 2 podcasts, one you're listening to, Whispers from the Dark, and Monday Morning Monsters. You can follow us all on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I think that's all of them. I think I missed one, but they're all there. And we want to promote again our upcoming project, Ghost Lab Project. If you want to support it, go on over to Patreon, and we're going to have a lot of cool stuff. You're going to be really excited for the stuff coming out of here. Our first event coming up this spring is going to be the Frogman Festival. I believe myself, Ma, and Ethan, and I think Kayla's going to be at that one as well. So if you got to meet any of us, you can come out to the Frogman Festival in Canton, Ohio. And Mason, Ohio. Yeah, that's why she's here. And then we're going to be in South Carolina at the Hagood Mill, along with Jeremy Leonard, Katie Stafford, and a lot of other cool people. That's in March. Then we go to Tennessee for the East Tennessee Paracon. Then we're in Ohio for the Bigfoot Salt Forks Convention. Back in Wisconsin for the Hodang Heritage Festival. Back to Ohio for Small Town Monsters. And that takes us to June 9th and 10th in Menominee and Marinette, Menominee Bigfoot and Paranormal Convention, June 9th and 10th at the Best Western Conference Center in Marinette, Wisconsin. Friday night, we have a dinner with all the celebrity guests, Angela Zabel, Chad Lewis, Christopher Noel, our Caps team, and another special guest that we are still waiting for the announcement to finally break that news. It's going to be cool. He has not been at any other conventions. This is going to be the first time you see him off of TV. There you go. That's your hint. And Paracon, and then back to St. Louis, and then the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference in Glen Beulah, Wisconsin in September. So that's all we got so far. There'll be more added, but that's it for now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring up our guests here today. They're going to be coming in and out of the show. So, we want to bring them up and get to know them and talk to them. Some of them you've seen, some of them you have not. So, hopefully, we get to hear some cool stories and stuff here on the show. Let us start with somebody who has not been on the podcast. And I think you need to come in and do a full podcast. I was going to try and get you in to record for the 99th podcast, but maybe we still will. If you're hearing this, maybe. I don't know. We will bring up Nico. How you
Hello.
doing?
I'm great.
You have not been on any of our podcasts yet.
No, I have not. No,
Yeah, you need to. You got a lot of cool stories.
I do. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I guess the best word for me would be I'm a spiritualist. I am very in tune with spirits. I'm a practicing pagan and Wiccan. I specialize in contacting them and hearing them. I I think the first time that I went on an investigation with you was the Kenosha one. Um, no, that wasn't the
No,
first one.
That was the big one. But
that was the
That was
first one as that
as
we filmed for a
caps.
show. Yeah,
That's
we
right.
did the Sheboygan Asylum before that.
Oh, that's right. The Sheboygan. Oh, yeah. Yep. Um, that one was interesting to say the least. So, but yeah, the best word I think to say to describe me would be a spiritualist.
Awesome. Very cool, very cool. You have a lot of cool stuff, a lot of places that you've been as well. Like you've
Hmm.
gone to a lot of haunted buildings and stuff. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I decided to go on a road trip to all the haunted places that I really wanted to see. Kind of check them out, see if they actually were haunted. I traveled to first Ohio, to go to the penitentiary in Mansfield, the Ohio State Penitentiary, and that was super cool. I got to they give you the option of hearing, everything that went on there, um, and the stories of the things that happened to the inmates there, the stories of the family that lived there was really interesting to hear about. There was They have the original electric chair that they used there. Um, and a lot of the original equipment that was used on prisoners to torture and hurt them. So and they all had it in one single room. It was quite interesting to be in that room and kind of feel that negative vibes and energy there. Because you could tell there wasn't anything that was good in that place. Um, and then after that, I traveled to the Eastern State Penitentiary, which was even worse. I heard whistling behind me as I was walking alone down cell block E. Um, and there were a lot of deaths there that were of trans people. Al Capone was kept there, which I hadn't known prior to going there. He had a cell to treat his syphilis, apparently, before he died. Um, Clearly was not very helpful, but didn't help much. Uh, but yeah, I think the one that gave me the worst vibes was Eastern State Penitentiary, because you walk through there and you're alone. There's not people around you. They send you in, and it's a big place. I'm talking, you have at least 10 minutes between you and the next guest. So you're not hearing people. and I'm walking through this place, and there's a pit where they would send people to clean all the like sewers and drainage. They'd send the prisoners down there. And all of a sudden I hear whistling in my ear. And I tried to get it on video. And when I got it on, when I looked back at the video, I didn't hear anything there. But it was like it was right next to my ear. So I, to this day, swear that I was not imagining things. I'm like, someone was walking by me, you know, there was no one around me. After Eastern State, I traveled to Centralia, Pennsylvania, which was the center of the mine fire that is still burning to this day. Has been burning for over 100 years now, I believe. And that is a place that doesn't have as awful spiritual energy as the other two places, but it is definitely an intense, sad place. Obviously, hundreds were killed in the mine fires, and with the sinking ground and everything, it's a very hard place to be. You get overwhelmed very easily being there.
Wow.
But yeah, those were my big three that I traveled to all in one go.
Nice. Awesome. Well, like I said, we are going to have an entire episode and go into a lot with you and talk more about that. So I want to get into, we have more people here backstage waiting to come on, the more of our team. But let's see who's ready. None of them are paying attention.
Asleep, the other one's off camera. There we go. There.
The one that's
just showed up.
The one over here. We will bring you up next. One of the other newer members to the team. Oh, before we pull up anybody else here, I wanted to give you a chance to. I know you do other stuff with like TikTok and stuff. Is there anything that you wanted to promote or share?
I mostly do cosplays. I am planning to talk more about my spiritual experiences and things like that on my TikTok. It is Nico Cosplays, COSPLAYZ _.
Very cool. Yeah, wanted to make sure we got that in here. So
yeah.
All right. Up next. Ooh, now they're all paying attention. Now they're awake. No, they're not. Yeah, nope, not paying attention. All right. Up next, let's welcome Rezneck.
Hey, everybody. Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
You look different. Why do you look different?
I'm actually cleaned up a little bit. I'm not wearing my normal Cavs gear. I have sleeves on.
The beard. See, down in the corner, you look different. Like your beard is really thick.
Yeah, it's not. It's a good optical illusion.
Up on the main screen, you look normal, but down there it looks. Does it?
Yeah,
you think so?
looked
Yeah,
different when he came
you
on,
look
yeah.
different down there than you do up here. So I was like, that's weird.
It's a figment of your imagination.
The shadow.
Absolutely. Yeah, the shadow beard.
Yep.
All right. Who else?
You know, people deal with shadow people. I got shadow beard. I can't help it.
Oh man, Rez, you have been busy as well with CAPS. Last year we sent you off to go investigate the northern unit of the Kettle Moraine. The National Forest Service actually put on its own presentation, and you went off on a little adventure on your own to go check that out. How'd that go?
Kind of interesting. You know, it really got me thinking a little more about wanting to look into that area. It was more kind of a ploy to get more people out to the Kettle to kind of do their nature walks and all that. We did have some people from some of the research organizations that actually showed up from around the states to kind of see what the DNR was saying, what was going on down there. Beautiful scenery. Anyone wants to go for a hike? Great place for hiking. You know, but far as for Bigfoot, I didn't really see much there, but I think that if we went off the trail and kind of did a little more investigating, that might go that way.
Absolutely. And for those of you There is the second episode coming out this year is going to be our investigation into the Kettle Moraine Northern Unit. So it starts off with our trip that we sent Rez out there and some highlights from that night. And then it moves on to myself and Derek and two other Caps Academy members. And we actually did a day-night hike out into the Kettle. So that's coming up in March, I believe, of this year is when that one comes out. So we got that all set.
To our other trip in the Kettle.
That's lost to time. That's the southern unit. We don't talk about that one. That was a very crabby day where we all wanted to just kill each other by the end that we got out. And then we went and got food, and then we went to the Burlington Woods. So, Rezneck, you do a lot of other stuff as well. Rezneck Inc. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yep. I consider myself an ink therapist. I do tattoos. A lot of my people that come to me, they're not looking for a conventional tattoo artist. They're not looking for a conventional therapist. They kind of need someone to talk to, and it's more about the experience than what it is about actually having the tattoo. The art's just a bonus to the whole process.
Definitely.
So,
where can people get a hold of you for that?
Right on Facebook, Rezneck Inc. That's REZNECKINK.
Awesome. Very cool. And speaking of the Kettle Moraine Northern Unit and the episode coming up in March, we have Derek.
Hi.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Rez.
How's it going, Derek?
Did you even sit up?
Going good.
Were you napping, buddy?
No, I'm just comfy laying like this.
Nothing says professionalism like a good nap on the couch while doing an interview.
No, I'm
Right.
just laying here to get comfy.
All right.
Don't we have footage of him napping on an
We
investigation
have
somewhere?
a lot of footage. We have a lot of footage of Derek napping on
That's
investigation.
because I had lack of sleep the night before.
Now, whose fault is that?
You weren't warned?
I'm
Nobody
saying it was
told
anybody
you we
else's
were going
fault.
investigating.
Jesus Christ Almighty.
He's like, now I'm being judged. Gotta sit up.
No, we don't judge. We just tease.
That's right, man. This is what happens when you put all of us together to actually do investigations. I mean, it's a fun
Why you
time.
separate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
Why we
characters.
never-
What can you
Why
say?
we're never in the same place at the same time. Derek, what have you been up to the last couple months?
Nothing much. Just doing a lot of thinking, trying to figure out my wedding plans out. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, tell everybody about what happened with you.
Well, July 19th of last year, I proposed to my girlfriend, and she said yes. So I'm now engaged to my fiance of 8 years of happiness.
Awesome, congrats, man.
Thank you.
All right.
I
So,
surprised
Derek,
her.
you're-
I almost cried myself. So, so
All right.
Now he's speechless.
Yeah, he's speechless. All right, Derek. Derek, what did you think of our trip down to the Kettle Moraine?
quite interesting, actually.
Yeah,
Very extensive,
yeah,
but
you froze.
well, it was extensive, but it was very interesting how big it was and the inside.
Yeah,
And
we
you
have
walked the
only
path.
barely.
And
We've barely.
and we went up to that one mountain, wherever that was. Got the name of it now.
Yeah, the Dundee Mountain as well. Yep.
Yeah, Dundee Mountain. That was an interesting hike. A
Hmm.
lot of trails, but we managed. And I managed, surprisingly, after what happened to me back in May of last year.
Yeah, what happened to you in May, Derek?
Well, back May of last year, May 12th of last year, I went to the hospital and was diagnosed with acute renal failure. I almost died. So I was in the ICU for 3 days, and 2 out of 3 days in ICU, I had to get dialysis. And then I went to a regular room for a week, and after that week, I went to the nursing home to rehab for a month and to get all my energy back and everything. So it's like, oh, it was a really bad setback for me.
How you doing now, Derek?
Oh, a lot better. heck of a lot better.
Awesome. Yep, good to know. And you've been out back with us a couple times now since then, so that's good to know too. Mm-hmm.
Hope to do more.
Speaking of doing a lot better, our next member of the Caps team here is Barbara. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good.
Good. You also had a very traumatic couple months here. Well, back in last year.
Actually, yeah, over a year now. Yeah.
I'm glad to report as well that you are back out in the field with us and doing a lot more investigating and back out hiking and doing all your stuff on your own as well too, right?
Actually, yeah. Tell you the truth, I've been always wanting to go back, but I just physically couldn't. With my illness or sickness, it held me back and I couldn't do anything. So, but I am up and about slow. But I am officially back.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you back. It really is. So we got everybody. We didn't talk about you. What have you been doing?
Reading.
Reading? What have you been reading?
Let's see what I've been reading.
Yeah. What have you been reading?
I read. Oh, can't see it. Jeremy Leonard's book. He's a really nice guy, and this is his story of why he became a demonologist. If you haven't ever read it or seen it, it's called The Dwelling. It's the rest of it. A dark entity.
Can you hear her?
Mhm.
Okay.
He never really promoted it, when we met him, which was almost a year ago. And now, since he's been on 28 Days Haunted, he's promoting it more. So it's a good book, and people should read it because there's a lot of stuff in there that people don't think about. It tells you not to provoke and not to mess with stuff you don't know about. So I read a lot more books, but not a Chad Lewis. Because if we don't mention Chad's name during a podcast, it's like a dare or something.
Yeah, bad things happen if you don't mention Chad Lewis and our unofficial sponsor, the Hodag store.
Yes, the Hodag store.
Ben Brunell of the Hodag store, hodagstore.com in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Go out and check out the Hodag store. We talked about the Hodag Heritage Festival in the opening there, but yeah. I tell everybody it seems like every podcast we do has either Chad Lewis mentioned in it or the Hodag store. So now we got them both out of the way. We're ready to go. Awesome. All right. So guys, we have a couple other guests and stuff that may be joining us throughout the show here. But I wanted to talk about some of the investigations that we've done. And I think I said before the show, Rezneck, you popped in a little bit late, but either off air or on air, nothing for this episode, this 100th episode, is going to be off limits. So if we've done it out in the field, if we've gone out and investigated it, we can talk about it on this episode because there's a lot of stuff coming out this coming year and stuff that we're working on that we can promote. Like I said, the Kettle Moraine Northern Unit stuff that we just did, that's coming out in, I think it's March. The Thirsty Buck Saloon is going to be our first episode out this year. And so let's start out.
Sorry.
Are we bothering you, Derek?
Derek,
No.
are we bothering you? Is this too
No.
much work for you?
No.
You need to take a break?
Keeping you awake?
No. Wasn't grunting on.
Guys, if you are not watching this on YouTube, if you're just listening to the podcast version of this, I highly suggest switching over, pausing right now, switch over and go watch it on YouTube because, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's start with Rezneck and Barbara here. And Ma, you're not a bubble. I forget that you're up there.
Slap him, Ma. Just slap him.
Bubble up on the screen here. Yeah.
I'm not that close. I didn't. It looks like I'm closer, but I'm not. I can't
No,
reach him.
she's way back here. On her reach.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Don't be looking around over there.
Someone got sidetracked, but it's not me.
I got me a knocker here.
There you go.
hit you with a metal ring.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about. I'm good at focusing when I need to.
Hey, stop sidetracking yourself, dude.
Let's talk a little bit about this past weekend. We were up in Menominee, Wisconsin. We got contracted to do this big project for the Marinette Menominee Bigfoot and Paranormal Convention, June 9th and 10th. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. This one. And yeah, so there we go. The Marinette Menominee Bigfoot and Paranormal Convention, June 9th and 10th. You can get tickets. Go to our website, wisconsincaps.com, and you can get VIP tickets. There's the medium gallery reading by Angela Zabel, Chad Lewis, Christopher Noel, one more speaker, and the Caps team will be giving a presentation at that event. So I highly encourage everyone to go check that out. Our presentation, though, is going to be on the haunted history of Menominee, Michigan, and there's a whole lot of this supposed curse.
First Street.
Yeah, the haunted First Street. So you want to talk a little bit about the curse?
Do I know anything about this curse?
Do you?
I don't know. My version of
Head of research, Ma.
my version of it had to do with the supposed McDonald brothers that were not brothers; they were cousins. And they were really bad guys. They were lumberjacks, and they were let's see they did something else first, but then they ended up murdering people in the town, and then the town kind of turned on them and dragged them through the streets, and everybody took turns beating on them. That's the story. That's one of the stories. There's different stories, different versions of it. But anyway, then they were cursed by, one story says it was a shaman. The other story says it was a priest from the town that cursed them because they were so bad. You know, the whole town was cursed from this whole story. But anyway, they died, and they were, I can't remember where they're buried or how they were buried. There's some more to the story.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember. You had Timothy Fries on, and he told the story too.
Yep.
So go back to that episode and listen to it, because once I read things and go on to the next one, I don't remember anymore.
So let's go up here to Nico. Nico, you grew up in Upper Michigan, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Escanaba. It's about 30 to 45 minutes away from Menominee.
Have you heard anything about like the haunted history of that? Can you tell us about it?
I've heard it's haunted. I never really knew much about the story, but like the story behind the haunting. But I mean, when I grew up, it was, the First Street's haunted, Menominee's haunted. It was always a thing. Don't go there because someone's gonna kill you somehow. And I don't know. It always shook me up, because I always drive through First Street when I go to Escanaba. I pass it, and
Hang on a second. Everybody's like tweaking out here. Barbara disappeared. Nico, you're all twitchy up there. All right, start back over a little bit
about
back.
the curse. It's another day.
Yeah, are we
Thing.
bringing the wrath here?
Yes.
Yeah. We might be.
It's all on your end, Barnaby. You're nice and clear on my side.
I never heard about talking about it, bringing it down, but maybe we discovered a new aspect.
Yeah.
Hey, when you acknowledge some things, you open doors up.
But yeah, I grew up knowing that Menominee wasn't always the, most blessed town in Upper Michigan. So same with Houghton. It's one of those towns that you kind of know has a history of ghosts and spirits and things lurking just behind your eye,
Like Whitewater?
Like Whitewater, yeah.
Whitewater, yeah. In Wisconsin.
Yep.
See, I know some things. Some things stick. Other things
Yes.
don't.
She has to read it. Yeah. And even then, yeah.
Yeah, I was always too young to really understand the mythology behind it, or well, mythology,
The
the
legends.
story
Yeah.
behind it. But I always knew that something was wrong because that was what was drilled into my head. Something was there. There was a ghost there or there were multiple ghosts there that were after you. So.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any experiences in there?
I always get every time I drive by, because I had said before that I drive past First Street when I go down to Escanaba. The hair on the back of my neck, it just stands up. There's something going on there. I wouldn't say anything crazy has happened to me, but it's enough that it gives me the shivers when I, even just driving through is enough. I've never bothered stopping because I'm like, we're good. We're gonna leave that little friend alone there.
Yeah. So we have gotten permission to investigate several of the buildings downtown, and we just wrapped up filming 2 of them this past week. And Rez and Barbara were along for those. But Barbara, you have lived down there for the past couple years. How is that going? I mean, we were actually, I know how that's going. We actually did our live Halloween special from your house.
Yeah, we moved here 2012. We noticed little things were missing. I've seen, well, not seen, but hear footsteps to, well, there's just so much stuff to go. It's such a long list to explain what was going on in my home. But we've lived with it, not liking it, but we're living with it. But things now are starting to calm down. We do have a chief in our home that we still allow in our home because it still has some things that it wants us to do. And then hopefully he will leave after that. So, yeah, but things have calmed down a little bit.
Very good. Very good. So, as we said on our Halloween live episode, we all kind of went out and did the investigation of Barbara and Rick's house. And we had a lot of activity and a lot of stuff. And we continued that investigation after it went off the air. And the chief that you're referring to, Rez, can you touch a little bit about on what we believe the history of the native people and what she's talking about there?
Well, if I remember correctly from the investigation and what we've gotten, Native Chief that was his land, his area, and him and his family and everything pretty much were massacred up there. So the soil is stained with blood, and he's kind of just hanging out, trying to have basically try to rectify what happened to him and his family. And he wants the soil cleaned. He wants retribution for what was done to him, how he was wronged, is what I've taken from it. And there's a few things we got coming up in the spring that will help appease him and help heal the land so he can pass over and be with his loved ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the times that we go out into these investigations, it's a human soul that has been there and passed away, and people take it as this negative light when all it is just a person that wants attention. They want to be heard, they want to be remembered, they want that attention, and that's part of what we think this is. Now, does this pertain to the other locations in downtown Menominee? I don't know. That's what we're out to figure out, and that's what our presentation is going to be in June, again at the Marinette Menominee Paranormal and Bigfoot Convention. So, guys, if you want to go check that out, you can hear all the stories and all the information and the evidence that we collect from not only Barb's house, but also the other locations that we will be investigating downtown Menominee, Michigan. There's just one camera there that just doesn't sit still.
One of these things is not like the other.
Good one.
Absolutely. All right. Who's got a dog? You, Barbara.
Yeah,
Oh, you. Oh.
they're being nosy.
They're letting me know probably someone's out front wanting to come hang out, and they're very vociferous.
So as we just said, a lot of the times when we're going and doing these investigations, we get called in because there's a problem and people need help. And I mean, we can joke and we can have fun on the podcast here, but when it comes down to doing an actual investigation, we take it very seriously. And one of those investigations that we did, we touched on a little earlier, but we have never actually gotten into it with Nico. You were at the Kenosha investigation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was intense.
Yeah. So for those of you out there listening, that would be the documenting fear episode that we always bring up. And well, what was your experience going into that? What did you have happen?
I think the biggest experience that genuinely instilled fear in at least me, which I like to say, as a person who, is decently in touch with spirits and things like that, they broke my pendulum when you and I were in the basement, when I was asking them questions, and that was that was quite shocking. All the things that were happening, especially down in that basement, with seeing all the crucifixes that were drawn by the priest. I think they had called a priest there, and just having all the crucifixes down there drawn by the priest and having them do absolutely nothing to protect us from, hearing those things, having that activity around us, having that family be affected by that, breaking the pendulum, which was, blessed. And, I had gone through all that work of putting protection around my equipment, and it was just gone. Something that strong, that kind of shook me. Not gonna lie. That was
Definitely.
When we walked in, the one thing that I remember very vividly was that she had covered all of her windows with tinfoil because she kept seeing something. And
The mirrors.
Yeah, the mirrors.
Yeah.
She kept seeing something behind her, and I was like, "Ooh, that's never good." If you're seeing something in a mirror, if it's strong enough to present itself to you like that, that's bad. That's not something that's gonna leave easily or want to leave easily. That's not something that's gonna leave us as a team alone, and it sure as heck didn't.
I think everyone left from that investigation took something with them.
Mm-hmm.
And had residual experiences after that. I know Ma was out of the group here. Ma was the only other one at the investigation. I think you said that you had some stuff at your house as well.
Yep.
Bring things home all the time. Then I get rid of them. I don't know. It's been so many things that I don't remember what specifically happened after that one. But
you bring so many things home.
Yes, I bring so many.
So what did
they make me sick?
What did you
sick at a lot of them.
What did you think of the Kenosha house?
That was really weird. I mean, I didn't think so much of it then, but I did go through evidence from there and found even more things. Like I did hear her name being called, where you don't hear it when you're there. And then just found so many things on the recordings. I mean, and I was in the basement and I walked through that doorway between the washer and dryer, and something was right there and said beep beep. And I'm like, I hope that shows up on, you know, all the recordings, and it did. And I don't know where that came from. You know, it was down there. It was down there with me.
Luke.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
And it wasn't him. You know, it was just this other weird voice, and it's just the strangest thing. It didn't scare me. It was just out of nowhere. Why it would just go beep beep, you know, like it wanted to get past me or something. I don't know. But yeah, the cupboard doors being taped shut, and I mean, they tried everything to get rid of things in there, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's not a good place.
And we had done some saging and some energy work with them as well. We went back after what you see on the episode. I think at the end of the episode, you see myself and Fathom go back down there, and she did some energy work with them and the sun, because the sun wasn't there when we did our initial investigation and cleansing. And things got better for a while. And recently I found out that things did not get better. They moved out of that house. They got a new location, and we were supposed to follow up with them, as you see in the episode. And we just lost track of them. We're not returning my calls, my texts, anything. And recently, last year, they popped up again, and we're still having activity. And I reached out to them because, you know, like I said, we're here to help anybody that needs it. And I reached out to them, and now we have two very good practitioners on our team, as well as a lot of other connections with, you know, people that can work more in depth with this stuff. And I sent her a lot of information, a lot of contacts and stuff. And to my knowledge, she has not reached out to any of those people for help. And that's really sad and disappointing, because when it comes down to it, we can sage and get rid of some things, but if the person that's affected by it is not willing to take that step and better themselves and make themselves stronger to take that out, that's something that person's going to have to deal with. But,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you know, people got to take control of their own sacred areas, their homes. Because if they don't, we can run them off for a day or two, or maybe even longer. But they're going to keep coming back if you're not able to keep up that strength and that, you know, that claiming of that sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back on a much lighter note and happier thoughts. So if you guys are having any problems with anything in your house, or you need help with healing or stuff like that, hi? Who said that? If you have anything like that, a member of our team, yeah, nothing weird going on. Don't worry about it. Somebody's got something with them. I don't know. We would like to show you. This is another member of our team, Ellie Weisencell. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Ellie Weisencell, psychic medium, is a medical intuitive that specializes as a body code practitioner. As an energy healer, Ellie offers additional services that allow her modalities to be intertwined with energetic healing. Within your subconscious lies information that knows everything about you and why you deal with specific conditions. The subconscious can be considered the blueprint to your entire body. With Ellie working physically with your subconscious mind, we detect what negative emotions are trapped and where they are stored within the body that is causing you your emotional and physical pain. This work is designed to remove imbalances and correct them energetically, getting to the root cause of why you have your condition, to help balance your body so it may heal itself. Your body is infinitely wise and wants to be in balance. The body code is not only gentle for humans, but it is also a gentle process to help animals. For more information, contact Ellie Weisencell at the website below.
Hello, guys. We're back.
Hello.
I am on very
very
loopy.
loopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it better?
A little bit of an echo there.
That's a little bit better.
That's better.
That is better.
A little, yeah.
Nico, your stream
Stream
is
is
whack.
whack.
Oh, that's not great.
Your picture's gone, and now I have a loop.
Yeah.
Echo.
Well, it's okay. Unfortunately, I have to leave anyway. So.
Well, thank you
Well,
for
thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. So sorry about the echo.
All right, I will try and get a whole episode with you coming up. We'll talk later.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thanks for
All right,
being on
thanks for being on
the
the show.
Yep, thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 All right, guys. Coming up soon, we have a brand new series coming out on YouTube. I want to give you a quick header. Here it is.
In 2012, a series of 3 game camera photos changed the life of Craig and Barb Sulk forever. After capturing what some believe was a Sasquatch, the team from Finding Bigfoot came out to investigate their property. Since that episode, the evidence has been piling up, and as of 2020, Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society has been hard at work to document and capture it.
That's right, guys. Season 2 of Finding Hayden is coming. The first episode is just yet done editing, and I'm hard at work editing up the rest of Season 2. We are about a year behind on editing this. In fact, we are currently filming Season 4. So, if that tells you anything, Season 2 is coming out. It'll be out running up as a promo for the Marinette Menominee Bigfoot Paranormal Convention. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming up on that. And unfortunately, this Season 2 starts off with a tribute to Craig Sulk. And so for those of you who are familiar, Craig did pass away in the beginning of 2021. So our second season will still have Craig in it because there was so much filmed for Season 1 that some of that's going to bleed over and reference and stuff. So you'll still get to see Craig probably through all 4 seasons, I think. We got a lot of stuff. But we are starting to work on Season 2. And all the stuff that we got up there, we have a lot of a new trail, or not even a trail camera photo, a witness photograph from the Hayden adventure. And that won't be out till Season 3. But that will be the end of Season 2. And we got to go out there and investigate. Rez, you were part of that investigation.
Yep. That was actually the first actual real investigation we were out on together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was ready to strangle you for sending me through the mush and the mark, knee-deep slush, and yeah.
Hey, you voluntarily walked through all that water. Nobody told you to.
Yeah, we took.
Hey, you told me to take a straight line out. You needed a good reading. I was following orders.
That's why we love you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's go back here. Derek, we're going to start with you. You spent a lot of time up in 2020. You're going to be in Season 2 of Finding Hayden. I don't know if Barbara and Rez, you're going to be part of Season 2 yet or not. I think, Barbara, you come in, we do the tour, and we'll come back up to that with you. But Derek, you got to spend a lot of time up at Hayden in 2020. And what are some experiences that you remember from up there?
Let's see. Besides Barb scaring the crap out of me and you with that loud whistle of hers as we're walking down the path in the pitch black dark.
Yep, that was good. Uh-huh.
Right? And then
I was right next to her.
yeah, but we didn't know she was gonna do that either.
didn't either.
Yeah, that was between Craig and Barb.
Picture me and Barnaby walking down a dark path without knowing what's going to be there and hearing that at the same time. Let's
So
see what
Derek,
else.
yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. There was like
Got a lot of
all
snoring.
sorts of different noises that we were trying to associate with things that were common, but there were some of them that were not the noises that we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like in the episode we had where we had early morning whoops that you caught before anybody else moved around or got up or whatever.
You 4th of July weekend 2020, you got to spend the night sleeping in Barb's hunting blind, the big tank.
That was
And
fun.
I got to give you credit because you're out in the elements. You're out there in just this, round plastic tub.
Sleeping in the window.
Sleeping in the window. Yeah, anything out there could have come up and grabbed you. And what was that night like for you?
Oh, it was awesome. I was not scared at all.
Yeah.
It was very comfy too.
This from a guy who can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh my
Thanks,
gosh.
Red.
I really need to pull up that footage.
Yeah.
Hey, Red, I didn't fall asleep in the haunt.
No, actually, I don't remember you ever falling asleep then, but
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't have was really interesting. Though, a lot of stuff we came across, like the stick structures, the teepee, and that baby owl we got close to.
Mm-hmm.
That we thought was going to fly away as we got close, but we got so close to the point we could reach out and pet it if we wanted to, and it didn't even fly away. Which amazed me. And just listening to Craig's stories was pretty interesting too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I miss Craig.
Mm-hmm.
So he has way with words. I'm gonna poo-poo that. That's how Craig was.
How about Ma? What did you remember from back in 2020, 2021, season 2 coming up?
That almost every night I had some kind of thing going on with my car.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be sleeping and something would do something. I don't know what it was. There wasn't any person out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was always something.
Sounds like something like thrown out of the woods, tapping your car.
Yeah, but also just walking up, and I'd hear like 4 taps on my car, and then that weird owl. I woke up and heard an owl like it was 6 feet tall, standing right next to me, just do a "Who cooks for you," and then I kind of paid attention, and then after that it was. I was just, then I heard the screaming and the yelling and the beating and I looked out the window at the van, which was right behind my car, and nothing was going on, but it just sounded like someone was tearing the van apart because it wasn't my car that was beating on. It was something else. And I don't know, if they were just putting the sounds in my head, trying to scare me, maybe get me out of the car, or what, but it was just always something. And I just, and then it stopped, and then I'm like, well, I don't know. And that was before we had walkie-talkies, so I couldn't talk to you, and before we had recorders in my car. Mm-hmm. And then after that, every time I'd hear something, I had the recorder, and then I would record things like the talking.
Mm-hmm. And that is in season 1.
Yeah.
Barnaby, did she see something when she was underneath the carport?
Yeah, that was the last episode. That was out, or?
Not the last one. It's one of the last ones.
Oh, the second to last, because then the other one was.
I can't remember what episode it was, but I remember seeing that on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't the Amber Eyes episode, was it?
No.
That was before.
No, Amber Eyes episode was the Amber Eyes me and Luke saw in the woods.
Yeah, I was.
I thought there was something else in that episode too that came across
that
odd.
episode.
No, you saw a clown, Barnaby. Got the crap scared.
That was the same night that I saw the Bigfoot by the carport.
Yep, that was the weirdest weekend that we had up there.
That was just getting cool, and then things happened. I mean, haven't stayed up there too much since then.
No, all of 2021,
all
we
the
got really
gifting
busy.
and that kind of stuff we were experimenting with, and There's a lot we can do up there yet. I still have stuff to go up there.
I would love to go back. I can't wait.
So we talked a little bit about the original year and stuff, but coming after that, during year 2, Barbara, you started coming up there with us and camping up there with us and stuff. And started mainly right after the benefit for Craig. We had an overnight camping trip, and that's going to be episode 2 of this season's Finding Hayden. And do you remember anything cool that happened during that stuff, Barbara?
During that time, it was kind of calm. I would get feelings that someone was watching me. I could actually feel like they're sadness or happy, or that's what I feel, like I told you guys before. But nothing too exciting on my end of when I was there. It was kind of calm. So
yeah, we've done a lot of stuff going into this year. I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we got coming up. We did an experiment. People are always saying that when you go out hiking and stuff and you walk through the woods, that something could be right next to you and you wouldn't even know it. So myself, Barbara, and Ma actually did an experiment. I dressed up in a ghillie suit and gave them thermal imagers and told them to walk around, and they did not find me, and I was within 6 feet of them.
We did. We just didn't put it that it was you.
Correct.
actually,
We found
Yeah,
the
we
area.
Yep.
We just didn't say it was you.
Yeah, it was that stump, and something was
that
there that
rock.
kept stopping me like something was there, but I didn't follow through, and I should have. I should have actually walked in
Every
a
other
little.
place we stopped, we went, "Is that you?" And that's the one place we didn't, because we were just starting out.
Yeah.
And she's like, "There's something white on the thermal. Isn't that, supposed to be something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but we should have just jumped in the woods and
I should
Yeah,
have.
how's about-
it got dark and then it was nasty."
And then things actually started happening, and they didn't want to be out there anymore. Yeah.
The other one that went
that's
in, we were still walking along the trail when the flashlight wouldn't work and the camera wouldn't work. And
Right, and that's when we actually had the owl right on the trail there, watching us. So
I've had that owl watching me a lot. I've seen it fly, be on the ground and up and fly away. And there's some big birds up there.
And ravens or crows.
Owls, yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of those.
That's what you think they are. It's like that cow.
Oh, that is in.
Thought it was a cow.
That is in episode 1 this
That
year.
property.
You get to see all about the cow. Yep, that is in episode 1 of season 2. Yep, that's a good one.
I missed that one.
Yep, I'm not sure when it's going to debut, but it will. Season 2 will be out in time for June. So between now and June, you'll start seeing the Finding Hayden season 2 start trickling out.
Leave Craig's little trickery in there?
All of that is in there. All the way up
That was
to
the best thing we ever did to you.
all the way up to on the ground.
On the ground, yep.
That's where it cuts up. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
that was good. That was
Yep.
fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good episode. I mean, it's you ever see like the campfire tribute stuff? That's what we did. We sat down and we sat around the campfire with Barbara, and we basically just are going to reminisce about Craig and our favorite stories, and you get to see some investigation footage that you've never seen before kind of filtered in there. The baby owl hunt is part of that, and then the cow footage is in there. So it's a mixture of evidence and fun stuff, as well as just sharing stories and talking about our memories with Craig. And then the rest of the season we'll pick back up with regular investigations and experiments. But we wanted to make sure that we paid proper tribute to the man that started it up there. So, but moving forward, we had a really cool experiment started this year, and we have not gone through all the evidence from that yet. But we actually got pheromone chips. And we went out and we hung Sasquatch pheromone chips around a section of the property with trail cameras that are not motion sensor, time lapsed, taking pictures every 5 minutes of the perimeter. So basically creating a giant circle of cameras around the pheromone chips. And so that ran almost all of last year. And we have a lot of footage off of that. Some really cool pictures of herons and deer and other critters. Turkeys, yep, a lot of cool stuff. So a lot of cool evidence, and we got a lot to go through on that one as well yet. But that won't be out till season 3. So you got to wait for that. But speaking of season 3, Rez, we had a really cool experiment that we tried with you when you were up there that night. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. With Bigfoot being in my culture, with being native and everything, I picked a few drum songs, a prayer song, and like a gathering and stuff like that, trying to see if that would bring him in, letting him know that, hey, we're here in peace. We want to interact with you, and that there's another native that was there on the premises that maybe with my descent that it would bring them closer, make them feel at peace, that it would be okay to come and interact with us.
Absolutely.
So.
And I don't remember anything really exciting happening that night, but again, that's a
well,
lot.
I remember there was a time when you got really cold there for a minute.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And thinking back on that, I was actually just thinking about that the other day. It's when you brought it up. I haven't listened to the audio yet, but I almost wonder if that was Craig coming out to stand by you to watch over what we were doing. It just kind of popped in my head out of nowhere. I'm like, and it really made me think, because you're the only one there at the table that had that experience.
That's very interesting too. Yeah. We do bring up similar stuff like that during the first episode too as well. We talked about the Ovilus and some stuff that you got on there. Speaking with Craig, we actually did an Estes session up there. We did a Sacred Circle and Saged, and we did an Estes session with Barb, his wife, to try and communicate with him. And I don't think that's going to come out like for public, but it was pretty sure we had some good stuff for Barb there. So, and then the only reason it's not coming out for public is just because it's kind of personal. Yeah. It's stuff that she would understand, but not relevant to other things. But it definitely was worth doing. So good times there. Yep. Yeah. Rolling right along here, we have good stuff coming up this year. For episodes wise, we talked about our first episode coming out here is going to be the Thirsty Buck Saloon. Barbara, you were part of that one as well. That was the paranormal investigation at the Thirsty Buck Saloon in Mountain, Wisconsin. How was that for you?
Very interesting. I felt something in the, well, I'm not sure how much you want me to say, but
whatever you want. It's coming out in a couple weeks. So.
That dowel that they found.
The bear?
Pardon?
The bear.
Yeah, the stuffed animal. They found something towards that. I didn't like touching it. I didn't want to near it. I thought something was attached to that bear. So, but it was kind of interesting. I felt a lot of things in there watching us. I don't know if anything was on video or not, on your end, but it was interesting. Yeah.
Party going on around us.
In that one closet, I didn't want to be near either because it was kind of, creepy. So
we put our little team member in there.
Who, buddy?
Not Derek. Our little team member.
Thanks a lot.
Well,
Uh-huh. Oh.
I gotta wake you up once in a while.
Oh, wait.
That would be the fittingest thing ever as he falls asleep during the podcast. Oh man. Oh my gosh. So
what about you? What did you feel during that investigation?
Me, I was doing that Estes at the end of that table. And whenever I do the Estes sessions, I tell everyone to, stay seated, don't move around, because it bothers me. And throughout that whole session, somebody kept getting up, walking around the table to the other side, walking back around me, standing behind me, and was just driving me nuts to the point I can't take this anymore. I took my headset off, I took the thing off, and I looked behind me, and there's nobody there. Nobody
there's
moved.
no.
Nope. And I watched the video back. Was it her son gets up and turns off the light at the far end of the table away from me, and that's the only thing that happened while I was doing that session. And it was just like there was people moving around all around me.
Yeah, and it wasn't during that time when you felt something was going around you. I think he turned that off beforehand, didn't he?
It was right at the beginning of the Estes.
Yeah.
I think the Estes was something about too bright or light or something.
Yeah.
And they said, "Do you want us to turn the light off?" And it says yes. And then he got up and turned it off. It was right at the beginning of it.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know if they said anything else going on in there right now, or do they call you?
There has been activity since we've left still. We stopped out there on New Year's last year, myself, and I took Fathom out there.
Right back.
Okay. I took Fathom. He's going to go have a nap, yeah. I ended up taking Fathom up there, and I didn't tell her anything about it. I said, we did an investigation here. I wanted to stop in. I brought him sage because
Dallas.
Yep, wanted the sage for something and other stuff. And we stopped in there, and I said, Fathom, just kind of let me know what you think. And she walked in. She walked straight to that door, that closet door. And I thought that was really interesting that without any prior knowledge, she focused right in on that same spot that, we had activity. So
Didn't you say there was something in the bathroom? I thought you told
I
me
think,
that there was something
yeah.
in the bathroom too.
Yeah, that she didn't like. Yeah, but there's
right by that door.
Yeah, there's still been activity in there since we left and ongoing. So Derek's back. It's a quick nap.
Well, the next time we're over there, I think you should be designated to go into the closet for about 20 minutes, shut the door, and see what you get.
Closet.
Yeah, just like I went in your closet.
You know what happened when he went in your closet? He didn't like it in there.
When you were in my closet, you were actually threatened, I believe. Yeah. About one of the programs that you were working on, that they were going to destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's when you left.
I got a question for you guys, for Barnaby here for a minute.
Sure, go ahead.
When you guys went to the Thirsty Buck, did you guys get any good EVPs out of it?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh,
That
yes.
floating orb.
There is an EVP from the Thirsty Buck. I forgot that. It's during the Estes session, right at the end, after I was talking about it. I have no idea what it says, but there is clearly another voice that comes in. You'll see it on the episode.
Okay.
So when it comes out, everybody listening, feel free to write in and tell us what you think it says. But
What did your mom say about a floating orb?
You said it came out of the closet past me.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
It's we opened up the closet door farther, and immediately after that you open it up, and then there's this. See, there's like dust.
It's not an orb. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
more of a wisp.
Yeah.
Thing.
Because you can, we're under the thing that if you can't see an orb with your own eyes, it's probably not an orb. It's probably just dust, and you clearly see dust floating through the cameras and stuff at the Thirsty Buck. But then there's this other thing that comes like from the closet across the table and towards the camera and past. And I pointed out in the episode, it gets circled and shown to you. I don't know what it is. It's not dust. So.
And like always, when we're ready to go, oh, okay, we're going now. Thanks for talking to us. And then everything goes off, and we start all over, all the REM pods and all the meters and everything starts going. And we start all over talking to it.
They didn't want us to leave. We weren't done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, spirit runs on its own time and its own will.
Yeah, just like at Burlington with Derek and the REM pod and stuff.
I'm right back.
Leaving again?
I'm just.
That's all right. He's frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
I'm texting a friend of mine. Just hold on.
I see who's important.
Right?
No, because I don't want him to keep interrupting this podcast.
Oh, good. Like you did. Oh man, it's a good thing. Like,
one of a kind.
you can definitely tell the difference between when I have a guest on, that it's more serious and we're talking, and then between it's just like the normal, like us talking, because these things go off the rails. So I want to go around to everyone separately here, and we've all done a lot of stuff with the team and that. And I'm just talking. I mean, we've done stuff on our own as well. You know, obviously Derek and Rez, you've done stuff, and Ma and me, but as far as like anything we've done, like I said, is on the table at this point for this show. But I want to know what your favorite thing that we've done as Caps that you've been a part of. So I'll give you all guys a little bit of time to think what your favorite spot was, and you can talk about it. I always say.
Well, I got two.
Okay, well, wait till your turn.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. I had to get a battery charger for my phone.
Okay.
It's gonna be a long story.
Yeah. Forewarned. Okay, well, I always have said that my favorite investigation was the Paulding Light.
Okay.
No, I don't mean that. I meant it at the time.
I don't mean that.
I meant it at the time. The Paulding Light was one of my favorite investigations to do because it was one of the first times that we had like live participants, like fans.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun to do what we're doing and have people that aren't Caps, that aren't, anybody, just participating and there to watch. And it was just so much fun having this like audience. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of activity as far as paranormal, Bigfoot, weird lights and orbs. And I don't think that, the Paulding Light 100% is car headlights, the one that you see at the end of the road. There's a lot of stories of floating orbs and other stuff going on there. And I don't know, that stuff I believe is weird, paranormal, but we didn't have any of that cool stuff. But I always said that was my favorite one. But I'm more so leaning towards Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, that was cool too.
I really think that my favorite paranormal investigation was Gettysburg. I was not looking forward to it. It was not my investigation. At the time, it was where Luke wanted to go. And we scheduled it, we booked it, we went out there and stuff, and we couldn't get out of it because it was prepaid and that. And I went out there, and just the whole town, the whole city had a really unique feel. You could feel history in that town. And then the evidence that we got, the gunshot, the cannon fire, the horse on the bridge.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like the horse.
And
I didn't hear that.
but that was one of my favorite investigations that we've done. So why don't you take the next one?
I like going out with Turtle Man. Not because he's Turtle Man, but because he was cool. He had so much knowledge. People make fun of him and stuff, but he knows his stuff. And it was just a fun day. It was a long day, but it was a fun day. That was cool.
Yeah.
And I like hiking. I like going up there. It's one of the places I don't mind staying. Mountain. I don't mind. I mean, I don't know if we never did stay overnight there.
Once.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
With Barbara and Rick.
Oh, that way, yeah. Okay, I meant that campsite. That was too creepy to, it's a little hard to stay there. But yeah.
What campsite was that?
The one with the fire, the Estes session. I like that too.
Oh, okay.
Try, get closer, harder, blow harder, and get down there,
faster,
on the
blow
fire.
together.
Get together.
I actually like that.
We did.
Berry tree, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to do. And then he yells at me later, you guys need to take it more serious. It's like, we were doing exactly what you told us to do. You know? So that's why I was surprised.
You got after us.
Yeah, this last investigation when we were up in Menominee, and he was doing the Estes, and he says, everybody put your hands up, and everybody put their hands up, and I said, that just reminds me of the fire, you know. We were just doing what he said, you know. So you gotta play along with what they want you to do. So, yeah, I like those events. Yeah. The Estes are.
Barbara, go ahead. What do you got for us?
I would have to say it was the Opera House.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites too.
Well, let her finish.
It was pretty interesting. When the piano light turned on, you know, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, this is real. You can't make this up, you know. But I think that for the Opera House, I think we need to work up on our plays a little bit more.
Yes, you need a lot more practice, which is what they kept saying. More practice.
Yeah. After you know that Spirit stated on the Iblis that we needed, you know, more time to practice. We needed a new scene.
Yeah.
We weren't very good, but we tried.
The second one is better. For those of you who watch the show, we only show you the first scene that we did.
Yes.
There was 2 plays we did. The second one is bonus features. You can go on our Patreon and watch that one, or you can buy it on DVD to see the second scene. But that's our bonus features from the show. But the second one was a lot better than the first one. That was the one where we were playing fingers.
And we were sitting down, and your eyes were covered and all that stuff. We're doing that session, and something was playing with my hair. Literally, it was touching my hair. When you were going the video, it showed there's a little hot spot next to me.
Yeah, I've seen that when I looked at that on YouTube.
Yeah, there was a little hot spot next to me, and I'm wondering if that's what it was. Whatever it was touching me, playing with me, you know. And it's just like knock it off, you know.
That could have been the GoPro or one of the full spectrum cameras, because there was a camera sitting at the edge of the stage. The thermal was here, then the camera was here, and then you're here. So it would have been in that shot. So
okay, I didn't realize
the camera's still really hot on there.
It looked like a thermal image of the shot, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so at that time I had longer hair, and it just felt like someone was just playing with me. So I thought that was kind of cool. As long as it didn't go home with me, we're good.
All right, Derek, what was your favorite investigations to do with us?
The same thing as Barb with the Grand Opera House, because we had so many things that happened, like that red light turned on with the filter with the light with the red filter kept on turning on and off. And then I think I asked a question: if you're here with us, can you take that red light off and put one of the stage lights on? And that piano light turned on for me. You can't hear me say it in the episode, but I think I said it when we were there.
Yeah, because you were down by the stage and everyone else was up in the balcony.
And I asked if anything was here with us, can you turn that red light off and make one of the stage lights turn on? And you pointed out, you got my attention by telling me to turn around and look at the stage light. And for me, I think what that shows me that we had an intelligent haunt that responded to me right away. It didn't wait. It's like, oh, let me do this for him so he knows I'm here. You know? It was just like mind blown, and Being a psychic medium, that little kid won't shut the hell up for the day of me. Because as I'm trying to focus, I can hear him yapping in my ear. I'm like, not now, please. I'm busy. Talk to me later. That little kid was stubborn. And then I kept on getting cold dressed by where I was sitting while we are doing the SS section.
Yeah.
And I had a K2 meter, and I was like, let me see something here. Nothing fluctuated it. And then your mom saw that ghost dog go into one of the road bios.
I didn't see him. I just talked about him.
A lot.
No, you said you saw something go into like a shadow or something go into the row. When the row's in front of us.
Okay.
And when you said that,
I don't even remember that on the episode.
No, not on the episode.
You couldn't see it, but it was just like, it was so fast. It's like, oh. But the dressing room with the boob buddy was pretty cool. All the evidence we caught with that was good.
Yeah, all the EVPs down there. That was really
That's our
cool.
littlest member.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it
our
was the
littlest
little
member.
boy that was talking through the boob buddy. Because there's a little boy somewhere down there that died down there somewhere. And I don't know exactly where the location is, but I've seen a lot of videos on it where someone had a chocolate coin. And he asked if you can grab it and you can start seeing it slowly move without anybody touching it. Now, if we had more time, I would love to have communicated with that little boy downstairs.
Did they say the age of that boy that did die?
I don't know. I don't remember offhand. But another thing I remember quite well is Barnaby got my attention with the light. The Joe and that one light kept on moving around without anything. And I was trying to look, and I was looking around looking for vents. I couldn't find a vent near that light to cause it to move like that. So I'm just saying, I think I'm going to have to call that one paranormal. I hate to be cynical on that thought, with that Joe moving.
With older buildings like that, there's so much drafts and different airflow and stuff. You never know, but it definitely was moving. I don't know what was causing it, but both of them.
What about the light though? What about that light with the red filter?
Yeah, I
Don't
know
know.
what that was. I was talking to that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
That
when
had
we were
some
setting
very,
up.
very yes/no responses with that big red light on the wall. That was cool.
I remember when we were setting up, you went around the theater with your GoPro 360, and the light turned on.
Mm-hmm. Right after I had been under it.
Yep.
Yeah, because we were just setting stuff up outside on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Me
you
and
guys were
Mom
all hauling stuff in.
and Barbara were setting stuff up on the table.
But
And
I thought it was in. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Hold on. When she was reading the story, when she was telling the history about it, when she was sitting on stage telling the story, I was watching carefully to see if anything made any movements behind her. I thought I did see something, but I had to look back in. I wasn't sure if I did or not. Because something didn't seem right when she was sitting there. Like something didn't feel right to me. Even when I was there, sitting from the hallway, looking directly into the theater when she was talking about it.
Very cool. Very cool.
And there was a shadow we saw down off to the far left, down by like where the stage is, but it was in that seating area is where I saw a shadow just to go off. The same thing when I was standing on stage looking directly towards the control room, I seen a shadow go from left to right in a slow pacing walk of a pace, like where he was slowly pacing, And I looked again, he was gone.
Awesome. All right, Rez, let's take it over to you. What was your favorite investigation that we've done so far?
Mud.
Going through the mud. I really like it when I get wet.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yep. Actually, the first thing that comes to mind actually wasn't even an investigation. It was actually the first meeting for Caps Academy. And I'd walked in and sat at the bar next to Ma, and I got that warm feeling, almost like someone put a warm vest on me, or if like how a loved one would come up and wrap their arms around you from behind. And I found that very interesting because normally if I feel spirit, it's cold. That was the first and only time I've ever had that warm sensation like that. And later to find out, I had one of the little ones follow me home and hung around for a few weeks before I booted them out of here. But as far as actual investigations, Barb's house, I loved it, especially after the live stream when, I'm still dealing and learning more about being sensitive and opening up, and I had all kinds of stuff just shooting into my head, thoughts that just coming out of nowhere that I couldn't explain. And when I started saying stuff, the validation that was coming out was unreal for me. It left me more boggled than anything and surprised by the end of the night. So that night was pretty awesome. But the other favorable moment I have is it was kind of odd. This last investigation we were on, when you're doing the SD session, my name came out. And that's not something that I expected, because Rez is not something common. So
I don't remember what I say. It goes so fast. I'm trailing onto the next thing.
Yeah, to hear that come out during that kind of blew my mind. And it was it's not like it's not a common name. It's not like a Will or a Bill or a Bob or a Jim. It's kind of like you. If Barnaby comes across, it's you. It's not something you're going to hear.
Yeah, I believe during that session, it called out your name. Also, Ellie
Anna.
and Anna.
Anna,
Ellie
Ellie
and Anna,
next door.
Yeah. It said that Anna was working hard, or Anna was a hard worker.
She was working hard. She was running the cameras.
She wasn't short.
Yeah.
That was earlier.
Oh,
She
yeah.
wasn't short.
I haven't watched that one back yet. So here's my next question. Same principle. We're gonna go around and ask everyone. We always talk about like our favorites or like the stuff like that. But has there ever been an investigation that we've done as a team where you guys have actually gotten scared? Like,
No.
where there's a point? No.
Nope.
Nope, not
I
at
was
all.
more intrigued. I got
No.
Well,
There
I
it
wouldn't.
is.
I wouldn't say personally scared. Of all the investigations we've done, I was always with someone. Well, this last investigation here in Menominee, the first building we went, I wanted to go in the basement, and Anna was with me, and I felt a little good about that. But the second building, I went upstairs by myself, and that was my first time ever being alone in an investigation. And when I heard like the elevator dinging, and it's just like, okay, all right, and I'm talking, and it's just like, okay, Barb, you really do need to go over there and investigate and look, And then the whole time I was just waiting for this child or this ghost, claims to be a male ghost up there. I was expecting him to walk around the corner or something, And then I heard noises, like knocking on the wall. And I'm like, oh, is that you? And it's just like, okay, Barb, something's going to come up and jump out at you, and you're going to jump, and you're going to go, a fool of myself, But that was my first time by myself. And it was a little not nerve-wracking or scary or anything. It was just that I wasn't there. So someone wasn't there next to me where I could talk or, ground myself. But I do believe the next time it's going to be even easier for me. So, but yeah, that was, to answer your question, like I said, it wasn't scary. It was, I think it was just nerve-wracking, a little nervous that I was by myself. So.
I think that's pretty common. I mean, when you're by yourself, anytime that you're doing investigations, whether it be Bigfoot, paranormal, anything, you have that alone sense where your brain starts to, overthink and overreact and stuff, and every little thing becomes bump in the night. And it takes a lot to get used to that. That very same building where you were talking, I was down in the dark hallway in the basement, just traded with Rez down there, and I sat down. Rez, when you were down there in the dark hallway,
Yep.
did you hear like water dripping or something behind you?
Yeah, actually, it was more in front of me because I sat at the far end on the
So did
bucket
I.
where I told you where it was, and I had a couple of ghost balls set out, and I swear I kept hearing like a drop from time to time, almost like it was coming from the pipes above, but
No,
I didn't really see anything where it could have been.
no, I didn't either. And I was thinking that's why the buckets were back there,
Yep.
was to catch water. But I didn't see any sign for that. So, but
Yeah.
the reason I point that out is as soon as I sat down there, I turned off the flashlight, and it kind of sounded like trickling water behind me, which would have been, I was sitting on the same bucket, so it
Yep.
would have been back towards the back wall of that tunnel.
Right.
And I swear something started walking in the tunnel behind me.
Really?
And I think you'll see in the episode, I jump up and spin around and look. But yeah, that was my experience in the basement. But
Yeah.
Well-
See, I didn't have much down there. As I was sitting there waiting and talking and trying to feel for everything, I had the ghost ball light up at two different times, and that was about it. And the first time it lit up, I was in the process of starting to turn to look around because I changed my directions. You know, I'd look at the wall that you had your back to first for a while, and then I would sit towards the side of the hallway, and eventually I was facing like the camera itself at the far end with the grid. And at one of the moments, you know, I went to kind of turn like this, and I'm hoping my camera caught it. You know, that ball just lights up out of nowhere, and it was on a cinder block. There's nothing close to it that could have caused it, and it didn't move either. Because if it would have moved, it would have fell right off.
Right.
Barbie, you're gonna
Now-
say something?
That same business that we were at there, it was towards the end of it, and I was talking to some of the girls that worked there. I think Ma was with me, and she noticed that there was a light or something was in the mirror, and so we walked into that room and tried to figure out what it is. Now it's all dark in there, and we're walking and we're like, what in the heck is in the mirror? And as soon as I got closer, all I saw was a face in that mirror, very low. And we're like, what the heck? And we walked in a little bit more and realized it was actually Rez. He somehow got past us, sitting on the floor, just staring in this mirror.
Oh, you mean Rez?
Yeah, and he had a black shirt on, so you couldn't see him. You know, outside of the mirror, you just saw his face. And then he started talking. He said something, and it scared the daylights out of me.
Way to go, Rez.
It wasn't my plan, but it worked. No, they had reports of seeing stuff in that mirror, and I basically went and sat in front of that mirror and trying to zone out and almost kind of like scrying some to see if I could see what they were seeing. I was asking the spirits, hey, show me what you're showing, you know, these other people. Give me a vision, something, and I tried, but unfortunately, they have a POS system that's behind the bar over there to the right of this, and every time I just about start watch the mirror go dark, so it started my eyes, and I'd start seeing everything starting to dark out, that POS system would flash or something, which would snap me right back to where I was from the start. It was getting frustrating, but you know, I think there's something up with that mirror where it's, I want to say, I don't think it's like possessed item or nothing like that. I think it's been around long enough that it has held energy.
Like something's attached to it.
No, I don't think anything's attached to it. I think it's more the energies there. And it's kind of like a residual film loop type deal is what they're picking up on and seeing. You know, because if it was something attached, I think it would have brought me in a lot quicker. It would have shown me a lot more instead of just what I did get to see. But that's just, you know.
I didn't spend as much time in that room as the three of you guys did. Did that room have mirrors on both sides?
Mhm.
No.
No.
That was
Okay.
the
It
only
was
one.
just a single mirror there.
Weird because it's down on the floor. It's like
Yeah. It's an odd place for a mirror.
a weird place for a mirror.
I just wonder if it's for the servers, so they can see around the corner or something, like, so they won't run into someone.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried 2 separate times that night to do something from that mirror, and first time I had a distance, and it was during one of the interviews with one of the girls. After I heard about the interview, I kind of went over there for a little bit and posted up at the table. And later on the night before we decided to call it a night, I kind of made it a point to go sit there and actually try to meditate, and that's when Barb found me.
You really should let people know what you're doing.
I'm a big 300-pound guy. I'm not hard to miss.
Apparently you are.
In a dark room.
Must be all the talents I got from working with you, Barnaby, down at the haunt years ago. I can hide in the dark.
Yeah.
What
So, yeah.
about the Rylander one? That's my other favorite.
Yep, we haven't talked about that one. That one's not out yet, and I don't know when that one's going to come out. Like I said, you can talk about it today, but I don't know when that one's going to air.
We had some interesting stuff happen there.
Let me preface it, and then you can talk, Derek. So we got invited to go out to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, to the Pioneer Park Historical Complex, and it's a series of several buildings. The CCC building, there's an old church, a schoolhouse, sawmill, the boat building. There's a train depot, a train, all these different buildings there on this property, and we had the ability to go around and investigate them. And so me and Derek ended up in a train car. Derek, want to talk about that?
Yeah, we're in a train car. I was in the back half of the train car where you can walk up the stairs to get into the train car. Barnaby was in the front part of the train car where you couldn't get in there. I was in the only part where you can get in and out of that train car. So we set up, I think, let's see, that one piece of equipment we set it to yes or no. I don't know what that's called. If you forgive me, I forgot. Thank you. That, and then we had 3 ghost balls. One closest to me and that piece of equipment, then one in the middle, and one up a little bit.
And I had 2 flashlights in my room.
Yeah, in his part of the train car, he had 2 flashlights. I had the machine that let me know if it said yes or no, and I asked if there was a man there. It said, I think it said no, didn't it? When I read it.
I was your end. I don't know what all was going on down there.
And then I remember when I asked if there was a woman there, and it said yes. And then I asked, "Were you killed here?" And it said yes as well. And for ungodly reason, I got choked up. I don't know why this is going on. And we were just sitting there, and then also I got the answer. Barnaby asked the same question with his flashlight test, and got the
same answers that he was getting on the flashlights.
So what I'm thinking is, what that is, I think if we both get yes, there's no way you can rule out just coincidence or whatever, what have you, you know? For me, I think it's paranormal. That train car had some kind of activity in it that we do not know about.
Or the property that it was sitting on, but yeah.
That too. But the one thing is those ghost balls. I remember we had, as you were coming back toward me, so we get ready to get out of there, when the ghost balls lit up, and I go, okay, can you turn it off for a minute? I want you to move here. Next time you want to light up these ghost balls, I want you to light up either that one again or 2 of them. And maybe, I'll say 2 to 3 minutes after I said that, 2 ghost balls lit up at the same time. Right on command. That gets me to think that what we're dealing with in that train car is intelligent, because it responded to my question. And with us doing the yes or no answers, and we're both getting yes answers, and then we got yes answers elsewhere too. But in the train car, I got the EVP of the words, "Hi, so," and I listened to it. It didn't sound like me or Barnaby's voice. It sounded deeper and more distinct. And I can't share that to you on Messenger. I tried.
Yeah, we tried that. Yeah. Wow, you went around that whole place as well. Where are you going?
Sliding out of a chair.
Did you? You went around kind of by yourself, I think, for most of that night with the Ovilus. Did you get anything interesting?
I was talking to the bookshelves in the school.
Okay. Yep.
And it
If
was
books could talk.
yeah, and it made sense because I don't remember exactly the words, but the words that it was saying were pertaining to the books that I was closest to, and then Ethan and Rez came in there and started setting up their stuff. So when I left there, then I had been in the sawmill and I got some names. The Ovilus likes to talk to pictures for some reason. If I like put it close to a photograph or something, it will say things that are relevant to that. So I was talking stuff in the sawmill.
We talked to that's interesting you bring that up. We'll get back to Rez's stuff in a little bit here, but we were talking to that guy at the Minnesota Bigfoot Paranormal or Bigfoot Convention, and he came up and was telling us that they could use pictures to locate people. Bigfoot and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it leads to kind of that same thought process that if it had to be a certain kind of picture, it had to be, I don't remember exactly what it was, but we talked about that in an earlier episode. But he was saying that it has to be a certain kind of picture, but the ink and the information is stored in that picture. So it's possible that you're actually reading stored information out of that picture or something, kind of.
There was another thing is, too. When we were in the CCC, that your REM pod went out because me, you, and your mom went there. We were in the 3 different areas of that building. I sat at the table. You were mostly by the door. I think Mom was in that little room.
I was in the medical part. Yeah, way at the other end.
Whoever it was, I was over there. And then your flashlight kept on going on for yes, and it was so emphatic. It was like. And then the REM pod just completely went off.
That would be the Civilian Conservation Corps for people who don't know what CCC stood for. So, but did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, it was that building, and then I was talking to that big wagon wheel outside. I can't remember what that wagon wheel is, but I was talking to the wagon wheel.
She talks to a lot of inanimate options.
Do we need to seek help from Mom?
Wagon wheels. I think it was used to haul logs. It was this big thing. Yeah, I was talking to that because you were.
We had a log
I thought I would bother you guys, and then I met up with you and went down to the train depot where we had stuff in the room with Derek. And somebody came in and bothered us.
Yeah, the other team came in.
Kicked us out of there. So,
Rez, how did you?
The other team that did not stay long enough.
Oh, me and Ethan, the school was quiet, nothing really there. Trying to think what else was there. The sawmill didn't have anything go off with the equipment. I'm still haven't gotten through all my recording as far as the EVP is and all that, see if there's anything there that way. But the blacksmith area, now that was pretty active for us. We had the grid set up in there, and we got the grid with the cold spots and all that. It would start manifesting more squares on that grid showing coldness, and then that little bar underneath, the little like half moon bar where it lights up from one side or the other. Yep, that was going off, and we got that to answer yes and no questions with us, which we found odd because that's not something that you would think normally would be. But we'd ask it a question, yes or no, or this side of the room, or can you point to this, or and we were getting responses back and forth for a while there. So that's where we spent a lot of our time there. The CCC, I don't remember anything really happening much in there. A lot of our interaction came from that blacksmith area. And I'm still jealous that you guys got to do the train car. I wanted to go in there so bad, but it just got too late.
We got special permission to go in that train car because the caboose and the other car were open, but we went in the passenger coach because we got permission to, but otherwise that one isn't even open to anybody. So, and that got locked up as soon as we got out of it. So,
yeah, I remember when we did the quick tour. I normally don't pay attention on tours, and I was with you guys, and I was like, I want to go in there. I want to go in there. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. We got a lot of stuff coming up this year, a lot of cool investigations. I want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we're going to be doing. Because if you're listening to this, if you're out there and you have any information to share with us, stories or experiences and stuff pertaining to any of our projects this year, I highly encourage you to go to wisconsincaps.com and fill out a report for us. Report your encounter. It's right on the homepage. Scroll down and click on it. Or you can remain anonymous if you do that, or you can give us all your information if you'd like to be contacted or if you're willing to be contacted. Otherwise, you can send us an email at wisconsincaps, CAPS, @gmail.com and send us any information. So what we're working on this year is we are going to be doing a lot of investigating on the black cat and cougar phenomenon down near Wildcat Mountain and the Baraboo, Wisconsin Dells area, or anywhere else in the state. If you have a black cat sighting, feel free to give us any reports of that, because if there's a cat in the vicinity of Wisconsin, we'll go check that one out instead of just chasing random stuff. So if you've seen a black cat, let us know. Yeah.
Okay. Remember the Devil's Punch Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. Is that Devil's Lake State Park?
No.
It's not the same thing? No. Is it nowhere near there?
I don't think so.
Well, it's still the same area, isn't it? Kind of Baraboo and
no. Devil's Punch Bowl by Minnesota.
That's way okay.
Yeah.
I thought we went down there. Okay, never mind.
Nope, that was with Derek on our way to Minnesota.
Yeah.
For
Pair Unity.
Oh, the first one?
Which was my other favorite thing I did.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
What else?
Just a question.
What else are we working on this year? Bigfoot. Obviously, any Bigfoot sightings that you got.
What about the L. Wrigley Mansion?
We are doing that one. But I mean, unless you've had an experience in the L. Ringling Mansion, it doesn't really help us. I mean, we're going to investigate it. We're looking for more cryptids and stuff. If you've seen anything out in the wild, and yeah.
Well, we did Mothman in Chicago. That was fun.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, you did that, and that park was crazy because of that stage area, whatever it was. That K2 went off without anything near it.
Mm-hmm. We are still going back to do more. There will be a Paranormal Chicago episode coming, and that is not. It's still being filmed and worked on, but we haven't got much further with that. We're waiting on.
Have you heard anything about the zoo down there?
That's what we're still waiting on. Some stuff down there. So.
Okay.
Are we doing anything with that goblin sighting?
We are. We would like to. So there was a sighting. We won't get too much into.
It wasn't me, I swear.
In Upper Michigan, we have a very credible report of a goblin-type creature in Upper Michigan. And if you guys have seen anything pretty much resembling kind of like the Gringotts goblins from Harry Potter. So if you've seen anything in the woods of Upper Michigan, in that area, kind of the middle of Upper Michigan, correct, Barbara?
Yes.
Kind of like the middle of the entire state, peninsula. If you've seen anything up in that area, feel free to let us know. We are definitely looking into stuff that was up there, especially if we can get some more reports or sightings up in that area. Go check that out. So that'd be cool. A lot of stuff we're working on this year. Again, guys, we appreciate any reports of any cryptids or anything that you send us, because every sighting, every noise, every footprint that you report to us, or anywhere. I mean, you don't even have to report it to us. Just adds one more dot on a map to help us figure out where things are and where they're moving, and helps us get more information. So very cool. Very cool. I think that about does it for this episode. What are you laughing at back there? We have a lot of cool stuff coming this year. So hopefully you guys stick around, check it out, and keep an eye on the Ghost Lab project coming to Patreon for Wisconsin Caps, because I think that's going to be something that everyone's going to be interested in, and it's going to be mostly exclusive to our Patreon page. So hopefully that sounds exciting to you guys all, and we'll have more information on that coming soon in the spring. But something to check out. Yeah, definitely.
Buy tickets. We need to know.
The Marinette Menominee Bigfoot and Paranormal Convention. The VIP tickets that include the breakfast. If you stay at the hotel, you get breakfast. It includes the dinner and the gallery reading. If you want those tickets, you have to buy them online prior to May, because we need a final count for the VIP dinner. You cannot get those tickets at the door because it is a by the meal kind of thing. So we have to have a final count by May if you're going to be attending. So make sure you go to our website, wisconsincaps.com, and there's a banner for the Marinette Menominee Bigfoot Convention, or you can go on Facebook and go to the page. There's links there to get tickets. All of your other tickets, if you just want to come hear the speakers, are available at the door, and the gallery reading will be sold at the door as well. But if you want to come to the dinner, you have to get that ticket in advance. And that is June 9th and 10th of this year. And we have a lot of other conventions coming up. If you want to know anything about them, go to wisconsincaps.com and click on public events page.
I have a correction that Chad needs to fix on his website, because if you go on his website and it's our, that Marinette Menominee Convention, and you click on it, it takes you to the Elkhorn Library. I think that's weird. So, you need to talk to Chad and fix that. So don't follow that link. Don't go to the
go to our
library.
website, not Chad's website.
When you guys were done talking about Chad at the beginning.
Yeah. We're never done talking about Chad.
Sorry, Chad. Fix that. Because I'm sure you listen.
You have anything else you want to add before we wrap things up here?
People should come to that convention. Listen to Christopher Noel. He has very different ideas. You might not know who he is, but he's not on a lot of things, but he definitely has interesting theories. And that's what they wanted, when we started this convention. They wanted some other types of information about Bigfoot. So he definitely has other ideas.
Definitely. Yep. And his documentary is on YouTube. You can go check that out. Rez, you got anything for us before we take off?
No, I'm good. Just hope everyone out there's having a good time, and I hope to see them out at the different conventions. And again, like you said, if you got anything, report it to us. Let us check it out. Let us know.
Mm-hmm. Barbara?
Oh, you put me on the spot, didn't you? Wasn't expecting that. No, just like Rez said, if you're interested in going to the convention and even purchasing the tickets early so you could get in there. But other than that, what was that?
It is kind of limited. It's not a real big place. So, we need to kind of know ahead of time. So.
Yep. Awesome. Derek, you got anything to add real quick?
Not really. Just don't forget to go to the conventions, you guys. It's lots of fun. You can meet us there, and we have a lot of cool merch.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. More and more.
Oh yeah, we got my whole living room is full of it. I got to load in the trailer.
What happened with that?
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this week's episode, our 100th episode. We are looking forward to a ton more. Keep listening. We'll keep making them. I don't know what's coming next, but our next event is in March, and we'll have a lot more guests on as well. And thanks for the first 100, and we'll see you for the next 100 more. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Stay
guys.
tuned for more.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Whispers from the Dark. To find out more about cryptids, anomalies, and the Paranormal Society, visit us at our website at wisconsincaps.com. That's Wisconsin, CAPS.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon. You will see links to our online store as well, where you can get t-shirts, DVDs, and more. If you click on the public events page, you can find out where you can meet us in person and all the public events we have coming up. If you enjoy our podcast or our YouTube shows, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/Wisconsin Caps. There you can find behind-the-scenes pictures and videos from all of our media, as well as bonus footage and evidence that we have collected. If you have encountered something you can't explain, we want to hear from you. Visit our website and click on Submit a Report on our main screen. You can choose to leave your contact information or simply remain anonymous. You can also reach us via email at wisconsincaps@gmail.com. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us on our Whispers from the Dark podcast page on Facebook, or send us an email at wisconsincaps.com. Remember to like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen or watch or find us.